Battlestar Galactica will not be seen tonight because of the following special, but will return next Sunday at a special time, 10, 9 Central and Mountain, following the new Roots. Tonight, a special presentation of the ABC Sunday night movie. To millions, he was the king. Elvis Aaron Presley.
Hey, kid, this is Sam Phillips. Listen, you want to come make some blues?
The greatest entertainer of the 20th century. Tonight, meet the man who became the legend.
I think you ought to seriously reconsider going back to driving a truck again.
The man whose music electrified 2 generations of America.
Here now, Elvis Presley.
Well, it's Saturday night and it just got paid.
The simple country boy, whose success changed forever.
I'm Elvis Presley.
I'm Priscilla Bowie.
The man the whole world fell in love with.
You know, sometimes it's hard for me to think of you as just a little girl.
But never really knew.
Well, then don't.
I don't need none of you guys. You got that? Go on, you're fired. You're off the payroll, man.
I can't take this anymore.
Tonight, the myth becomes the man. The legend comes to life. The king lives again. Elvis.
So, Elvis from 1979. The real reason why I recorded all these movies in 10 seconds or less. No, I'm kidding. The real reason why I recorded all these episodes at 3 o'clock in the morning, all in a row, and then planning to upload them all in a row. I just decided to start watching this movie after being done watching a different movie entirely. And I felt like, let's get this over with because it's the last of John Carpenter's TV movies. And the one that sort of appealed to me the least when I was reading about them. Dark Star, sci-fi. With sci-fi, you can't really go wrong with John Carpenter, so I kind of expected it to just be good, especially because it seems to be like a cult classic movie. Someone's watching me. I had a lot of high hopes because it was a thriller and, with light horror elements, even though that's kind of not true. So I expected to like that one a lot more and was disappointed. This one, I don't really care much for Elvis. Elvis is a little past my time, and his music really doesn't appeal to me. But I actually ended up really liking this movie. My only negative I have to say for this movie is that it's nearly 3 hours long, and sometimes it just feels longer than that. I like a lot of the biopic feel, of course, of watching his life from when he was a little kid, but only really taking small moments here and there. And my other favorite thing about this movie is that it's not Elvis the icon, the star on the stage, the whatever, all the songs he's known for. You get a couple different songs here and there, of course. You have to have Elvis songs in an Elvis movie. But it's more of a personal look at Elvis, making friends and seeing how he goes through love and heartbreak, and it's a lot more about when he has his dark moments and when he has his moments of being excited to be the next big thing in performance and music and movies and whatever. But I also especially like that even though I complain about the length of the movie, it at least feels deserved. In other movies, there are a lot of times where you'll get a 3 hour length or 2 hours and 45 minute length, and it just sort of feels like you're making padding and the pacing is wrong. Here, where the pacing isn't exact, it does, like I said, feel like a slog at times and feel slow. It at least feels like it was earned because it's very much looking at little clips and moments of his life, and it feels like you're growing with him from being a little kid, then as like a teenager, graduating from high school finally, and then his young adult life, and so on and so on. And really the only real reason I would say it has those pacing issues is just because it sometimes it'll tell you, like this is 1956, and you're like, okay, all right, and then you'll go on long moments where time has clearly passed, but you don't know how much because it keeps not telling you, and then every once in a while it'll just give you a year again, and it's like, could we have just been told that like every year that passed? Because it just makes it feel so long. But there is one thing in this whole movie that I think makes me completely ignore all those negative things, and it is Kurt Russell. At first, I was a little like, Kurt Russell is Elvis. He definitely looks the part, as you can see in the image, the poster. But will he sound the part? Because a lot of Elvis impersonations feel like that. They feel like a person making fun of Elvis's voice, not so much sounding like Elvis or whatever, but Kurt Russell nails it, like, perfectly. It doesn't feel too much like Elvis's voice, but more like a southern accent with the intonation and other little quirks and things that Elvis had when he would speak. And it's like, oh my God, wow, that's amazing to hear, because it's just like, otherwise it would have sounded like a caricature or like an exaggeration or like a joke, but it feels real. And oftentimes in this 3 hours, I kind of had to keep reminding myself, like, this is Kurt Russell, not actually Elvis Presley, because he genuinely does a really good job at you know, the voice and the acting and everything else. If I had to say anything other positive about this movie, is it definitely feels very John Carpenter, even though it's written by Anthony Lawrence. He definitely takes the script and does some important things visually and other things, but the most important, or not important, but the most amazing part of this whole movie is the end, which I won't give away, because this movie isn't about the death of Elvis either. It cuts off at a specific point, like, late in his career, but it ends on this really emotional and just beautiful shot of just one shot that lasts for like a minute or two, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of like I don't want to say too much more. It's definitely worth watching if you have like 3 hours to spend just sitting down and watching this one. Finding a copy of it is a little hard. The other two weren't so hard, but this one you'll have to look around for a copy of it, because, the DVDs are like $20 each one, and the Blu-ray is the same. And if you're trying to find it on other ways, it's a little difficult, but you'll definitely get there. But if you definitely have 3 hours, I would say it's worth it. Even if you don't care much for Elvis, which, like I said in the beginning, I don't, it was still a really interesting story to hear. And maybe it's not 100% factual, and I don't know that, but it definitely feels like it never strays away from the dark moments of his life. It definitely shows them, and yeah, it is a fantastic movie. The next episode will be up whenever. I'll put a list in the description of the movies I have left to watch, but other than that, thanks for watching. Sorry, this is recorded after because I completely forgot, but the reason I recorded all these episodes in a row and wanted to get to Elvis so much is because I watched this movie really late at night, really only a couple of hours ago, starting, like 11 o'clock, and then it went over into midnight and so on, and then I looked up Elvis, and I found out today, conveniently, August 16th, is the 42nd anniversary of his death. And it just kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh, what a weird coincidence. And that's really the only reason I wanted to get these out so quickly, is just so that I would have that coincidence. But I promise, I wasn't trying to line it up. It was just a happy little mistake, like Bob Ross says. But anyway, okay, I'll see you for the next episode. Bye-bye.